walk me through Friday. You were on your way back from vacation?
Yeah, I was spending a week with my girlfriend and her family at a very nice vacation house south of Virginia Beach. And I had to come up a day early. I had to leave those guys to go to my sister's fiance's bachelor party that weekend, this past weekend. So Friday, I leave about 10 a.m. in the morning, and I'm coming up. Traffic is fine, no problem.
I think that's better.
So you're on your way to the bachelor party?
Yeah, coming back home just for a few hours to relax and get things together for it. And my mind was just swirling on the trip, thinking about the week, you know, the positives and negatives, of course, of the whole thing. But it was mostly positive. I had a blast down there, spending vacation time with her. And all of a sudden, I'm driving on Route 1 in Delaware, and I come to a realization. I sort of feel touched by God in a sense that I have to stop thinking about the past and the future and just focus on the present. That really helped me along this process, because as soon as I did that, I'm not even kidding, about 30 seconds to a minute later, I see the F-350 out of the corner of my left eye, crazily swerving out of control in the grass median. And I know there's going to be danger upcoming, and I have to be alert, and I was, thank God, at that moment. So I notice he's not slowing down either, and he's coming pretty much straight for me on a diagonal. I was driving in the left lane, and I make the right moves in order to save my life. What I do, I see him coming at me, it's about to be a T-bone on me, and I sort of veer to the right as much as I can, or to the best of my ability, so he just catches the back left end of my car, and he misses my door. The glass shatters, of course, on both sides. But as soon as he hits me, I don't normally curse, but I did then, because it was a traumatic experience, and I didn't know what to think, but I was coherent through the whole thing. So according to reports, I was spinning. I had no idea my car was spinning after I was hit. But I come to a rest on the right embankment, perpendicular. My car sat perpendicular to the road. And I came to actually a nice, gentle stop. But of course, I had to realize and take a few moments to say, okay, am I alive? And I had to, check for injuries. My limbs were all moving. Everything seemed okay. Checking for blood. And with my left hand, I just felt a little something on the back of my neck. It wasn't much, not enough to worry me. And I realized I should probably get out of my car, because I realized I could. So I did. My car door opened perfectly. I walked out, and I was amazed how many people responded on the scene right away.
Like just bystanders?
Bystanders, yeah.
I mean, how much traffic was around you for you to even swerve to the right?
Oh, there's a good bit of cars. So I'm also thankful I wasn't hit when I was apparently spinning. I was just hit, I think, by the lone truck.
So then the truck hits you, but keeps going.
But keeps going. And that's when it hits the Trinidad's family car, the van. That was a few cars behind me, I heard.
And you were still in your car at that point. You didn't realize anything else, right?
I had gotten out. I looked behind me, and it just looked sort of like a war scene. And I probably had so much adrenaline, I wasn't even thinking about myself. I was thinking, I got to go back and see if others are hurt to help out. And one of the kind citizens had the wherewithal to tell me, man, you better sit down, because you don't know, like, something could happen to you, whether it was like a spinal injury or something like that I couldn't detect at the time. So.
You say that you had the sense to swerve, and but it all must have been happening so fast.
Yeah.
And I mean, what was going through your mind once you were hit, and then you realized the car was still going towards other vehicles?
Well, I think I took a moment just. It was all in a split second, and I wasn't really thinking that much. I was just hoping I was alive, and I think I closed my. I was bracing for the hit. I remember closing my eyes. And I was sort of just shocked that I was perfectly okay, honestly. That was part of the shock.
So the shock of that,
Yeah.
knowing that you're okay, but then hearing the aftermath of that, I mean, how do you even process?
Oh, I was taken to the hospital for precautionary reasons, of course, and I heard about what had happened to the family, and I was sitting in the ER room, and my heart was just pouring out to them when I heard about it. My heart beat extra fast, and I actually held it because I had heard, you know, that the daughters died along with the dad, and I heard the mom, her face was beaten up pretty good, but at least she was alive. And then my mind thought about how the traumatic stuff she's going to have to deal with the rest of her life. It's going to be the utmost challenge for her. And I hope she has the right support system that she'll make it through it okay, at least. I know it's going to be the toughest part of her life going forward, though.
And I mean, to survive that, like, how have you processed knowing that? And just, it is very traumatic, and it was,
Yeah.
you know, a really bad crash.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the key is just to live presently. Like, I'm blessed to be here with you guys still. And that was the key for me, that my mind was clear enough to make those reactions, those split-second decisions that are life-saving. So that's my message to people, is to live in the present and don't have as many fears about the past and future. Still be cautious. I've learned also be more, I guess, cautious and self-aware about things. And
How fast would you say the truck was driving?
to me, it was a pretty high speed. I mean, I told investigators 80 miles an hour, but I'm sure it was more like 60 to 80, along those lines.
And so you just saw it spinning out of control and coming towards you?
It wasn't spinning out of control, it was more swerving out of control. Yeah.
Okay. And were other cars also swerving around?
I saw
you?
people coning out from my last memory before I was hit. Yeah.
So as far as the minivan, then,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that they just didn't have enough time to?
I don't think they had
process
enough
it?
time to react. Yeah. Because I heard it was a straight-on T-bone. And maybe cars were swerving out of, you know, in the sight and then out and then boom. I don't know the story on that.
What is your message for this family? I mean, they're
Mm-hmm.
a religious family. They're, you know, very invested in their community. A lot of people loved them. You know, do you have any message for their loved ones?
Just stay present, and God's looking out for everyone, even though this terrible tragedy happened to this family. No, he's always with us. And everything does happen for a reason, although this was horribly traumatic. You just got to keep your spirits up as long as you can. You got to make the best of this life we have here on this planet. And just anyone who's involved with the Trinidad family, give a loving hand to this mother. She needs it more than ever. And I hope she's able to receive that from people.
And as far as you, how are you doing?
Well, I'm a little sore from the post-accident situation. The only injury I would have had from the actual incident is upper back and neck soreness. But I don't even feel that now based on what happened later that night. And it was, for me, it was a PTSD moment. I think I'm going to leave it at that for you guys, because it was very tough on my family and me. This was part 2 of the drama for me that day. And but I'm through it. I'm 100% mentally well now, and I will be going forward. I know that for a fact.
So a bystander apparently called your mom, right, or told you.
Right.
Grab
Yeah.
the phone. So,
Mm-hmm.
so just walk me through that.
So that was another one of the kind citizens that came over. She actually said, "I know CPR. You shouldn't just sit. You should lay down flat." And then she asked me, who should I call to inform that this had happened. And I thought I was fine enough to, you know, not have anyone know, because I didn't want my mom to be stressed out. But she insisted for her to call my mom. I'm grateful she did. So she reached out to my mom, informed her on the situation, and then steps for me where to be picked up in the hospital, things like that.
And you're in your car.
In my car, yeah,
What does it look like?
it's totaled, and the police have impounded it and things like that, and I still have to go down to get some of the belongings that were still in there, like my golf clubs that are pretty important to me still.
But a lot of physical damage to the car.
Yes, especially on the left back end, that's where all the damage was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to add?
Like I said, I'm beyond blessed to be here on this earth still. And one thing, I'm not going to take seatbelts for granted anymore. I had mine on. And I think that really prevented me from any serious injury. And I'm definitely more of an advocate for seatbelt safety. I overheard the situation with the Trinidad's vehicle. The daughters were not wearing their seatbelt. I'm not sure if both parents were or not, maybe just the mother was, but maybe that is somehow what saved her life. So I think that's an important message from this story as well.
And I know it's a difficult thing to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, when you say it was a war zone, I mean, are you just talking about debris and first responders on the scene?
Just all the people and how the cars were on the side of the road. And yeah, I saw responders pretty quickly, like the fire trucks, police, all that. But the vehicle, the Trinidad's van, was thousands of feet behind me, I think, so I had no sight of that from where my vehicle was. Yeah.
It was just after you went to the hospital you started hearing about
I heard about things, yeah.
And is that from friends, the news?
That was from people, workers in the hospital, nurses and all that, talking about what they had heard, either from police or news.
Did you see the driver of the pickup truck?
I never saw their faces, no, I don't recall.
Do you remember seeing their car, the truck?
Yeah, in fact, I actually thought it was a silver truck. I knew it was either an F-150 or F-350, so I had that right. I noticed there was a trailer that was sort of attached to it that was silver. Maybe that's what I caught a glimpse of, which made me think the color was silver, but it ended up being a maroon F-350. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.